sedang berubah. Arab Saudi sedang berubah. Salah satu bukti perubahan itu ketika Pangeran Muhammad bin Salman mau bertemu dengan Penginjil Kristen dari Amerika. Bukan cuma satu kali, tapi sudah 2 kali pertemuan berlangsung tahun 2018 dan 2019. Para penginjil Kristen ini bertemu juga dengan Presiden Mesir LCC, Putra Mahkota Uni Emirat Arab Muhammad bin Zayed dan Raja Abdullah II, Raja Yordania. Orang yang cukup berperan membangun hubungan antara Israel dan dunia Arab adalah Joel Rosenberg. Ia bertemu banyak pemimpin Arab karena ia terkenal sebagai penulis fiksi politik dan penginjil Kristen. Joel Rosenberg berdarah Yahudi, warga negara Amerika yang memilih aliyah atau pulang ke Israel menjadi seorang penginjil. Ia lahir dari penginjil Kristen yang pernah datang ke Kalimantan untuk penginjilan.
President, we're commanded to pray for kings and leaders and all those in authorities. That's what we are commanded, and we can't say, well, I don't agree with that guy. All the more reason to pray. Don't you think Daniel was praying for Nebuchadnezzar? King Nebuchadnezzar, the guy who invented throwing Jews into fiery furnaces. I mean, come on. And Daniel served him because he was serving the Lord. Sometimes God opens crazy doors. You have to understand, Joel, who your God is. Then you ought to be praying prayers that He will do things in people's lives, that He will open crazy doors. Not
Mengapa Arab Saudi mengundang penginjil Kristen?
Well, he invited me to bring 2 delegations of evangelical Christians. We did this in November of 2018, and then we did it again in September of this year, 2019. It made front page news all over Saudi Arabia, all over the world, actually, certainly the Arab world. Now, that's not proof that Saudi Arabia is changing, but I think it is changing. Now the question is, they've got a lot of things to change. It's been a country that's been very much against our values in the West, and they have oil, and they've wanted to be friendly because they want to sell us oil. But the oil money is running out. The oil is running out. And so I think the question is whether the Crown Prince wants to fundamentally change his country. I think he does, and I think he's made 30 or 40 major reforms that are moving in that direction. But the jury's still out. You know, time will tell.
Mengapa Arab Saudi mau menjadi moderat?
I would say this. The Vision 2030 plan that the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia has means that he wants to fundamentally transform his economy away from oil into all kinds of other technologies. And Vision 2030 is based on several things. First, they need trade. 2, they need foreign direct investment. Then they need tourists. And they need technology. Those 4 things actually would require them to change the way they run their country. Right. You can't have torture. You can't have arresting every single person that disagrees with you. You can't keep the dissidents that have been in prison forever. You can't have extremism that you're funding around the world through Wahhabi mosques. If you want trade, if you want technology, if you want tourism, and you want investment, you have to change everything about how you're doing it. Now, that will take some time, but that's the test. Do they really want those 4 things, or are they just saying they want those 4 things? I think the Crown Prince does want it. Right. I think that's why he's changing, but look, we got to encourage what they're doing right, and we have to challenge what they're doing wrong. Right. No, it's wonderful.
Mengapa Arab membuka diri terhadap Israel?
These leaders are indicating that they are not happy with the status quo. They see Iran as the major threat, and they're looking for strong allies against Iran. That's the United States, and it's Israel, right? The threat of Iran is forcing the Arab leaders to say, who is my real enemy? Who is my real friend? And they look at Israel, and they've always treated Israel as the enemy. Now they're thinking, actually, I think they might be our friend. They're against Iran. They're strong. They have a strong economy. They've got strong technology, great technology. Maybe we should do business with them. Maybe we should build an alliance against Iran together. They're so close to the United States. We need that too. So something new is happening, and it's encouraging. I'm not saying it's all good. I think there's a lot of problems in these countries, but there is progress.
You mentioned that the threat.
Mengapa Indonesia perlu bangun hubungan dengan Israel?
I'm encouraged by the number of Muslim countries that are beginning to build relationships with Israel. And I think we're seeing warming relations between Muslim countries in the Gulf, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, Oman. Oman, a Muslim country, recently invited the Prime Minister of Israel to come and visit, and he did. We also have seen a Shia Muslim country, Azerbaijan, invite Prime Minister of Israel twice to visit. I think it would be exciting, historic, and important for Indonesia to build a relationship with Israel, ultimately move towards a full peace. There's so much that we can work on together in trade, in technology, in tourism. Indonesia is an important country. It's the largest Muslim country. There's a lot of Christians in Indonesia too, and both Muslim and Christians would be interested in visiting the holy sites here. I just hope that there's a growing warmth between Israel and Indonesia in the next year or two ahead.
Saudara, dunia Arab berdamai dengan Israel tentu patut diteladani. Mari kita ciptakan peluang perdamaian di mana saja kita berada, termasuk di Indonesia.
Indonesia bisa berperan sebagai mediator damai Israel dan Palestina. Saksikan video perjalanan hubungan Indonesia dan Israel dalam 6 fakta Indonesia dan Israel di faktaisrael.com.
Salam damai dari Fakta Israel.